What's up, YouTubers? I am doing a Halloween wreath today, so thanks for joining me. What you're going to need is a bag of dum-dums. I have a 300 pack because you're going to need about 150. You're going to need an 18-inch Halloween wreath and a 16-inch foam wreath. And this I got at Michael's. It's kind of like a confetti Halloween wreath. It's really cool. So you're going to put those together. As you can see here, my 16-inch foam wreath is inside my 18-inch Halloween wreath. And then I'm going to secure those together by weaving my floral wire back and forth to keep the foam from coming out, because when I go to stick the dum-dums in, you don't want that foam to pop out. Plus, I like to use my projects year after year. I don't want to waste them and just use them for 1 year. So when you start to put the dum-dums in, put them in a circle, and then use that circle to go off of that, because as you get wider or further out, the suckers get further apart. They go further apart, and so you're gonna have gaps, and you want to fill those gaps. So just do your best. Try to make it symmetrical. There's some dum-dums I had to take out and put in different spots, and I'm not using the circle yet, so I'm not going to put any dum-dums in there because I don't know how far down I need to go with the rope. So I'm just going around and filling any gaps that are open, because the dum-dums get spaced further and further apart as the wreath gets wider, if that makes sense. And I have a tag on it, and somebody needs to tell me to take that tag off, because obviously I didn't remember. Now that's the back of it. It doesn't look horrible. Yes, you're gonna have suckers stick out, a couple. I had probably 4 sticking out. Not a big deal. You can use this next year as well. I did have one sucker totally slip out because I didn't push it in all the way. So the suckers do stay in really, really well, so don't worry about that. One of the things I want to tell you, when you do this project, it is your obligation to look to see if the sucker wrappers are secure. If those sucker wrappers are not secure and they're about to fall off, it is your duty, and I'm telling you now, it is your duty to take that sucker wrapper off and eat it. I'm telling you now, you have to eat that sucker. So, make sure all the wrappers are on tight, because you don't want the kids, grabbing them and wrappers are falling off. So I had about 5 suckers. I'm sorry, that's just something you gotta do, guys. I'm at Michael's now. This is a Halloween wreath that just like mine, except it's purple and black. So I'm here because there is I wanted to put some type of decoration in the middle of my wreath, something cute, and just to bring it to life. So they had some really cute stuff. They had a witch's hat. They had eyeballs on sticks. They had, so much stuff. And I like it because it's not gory and bloody. It's more glittery and festive, and it just kind of gets you started for the holidays. So I'm just looking at all these little bins. They have little things like glittery twigs, which I thought that looks like a witch's broom. I don't know to anybody else. That kind of looks like lilac to me, except it's black and purple and it's glittery. I'm not sure what I would do with that. They had a lot of things on sticks, which I thought would work for mine, because I could just stick it in the foam, but that's not really what I had in mind, so I just put that back. So they had eyeballs and pumpkins on sticks too. That was pretty cute. But they also had witches' legs, and my wreath was just too big. I wanted to use those so badly, but I didn't want my wreath to look so silly to have this like little teeny hat and little teeny legs. Now this spider web I really liked, and I went and put it in the wreath that was at the store, and it was just too big. It wouldn't fit, so I kept looking. But look at all these candles and jars. Doesn't that get you in the mood for Halloween? So I'm finally home, and I'll show you what I got. I decided to go more of a DIY fashion. I got some glittery spiders, and they have hooks on them. They have like little clamps. I got a round piece of wood, just thin. It was 99 cents with a sticker on it. Had to peel off. And then I got a trick-or-treat sign, which was 99 cents too. So it was really cheap and inexpensive. And then you're going to need a couple of those hooks, some type of glue. You're going to need glow-in-the-dark paint. Oh my gosh, he's barking. Some type of glitter. If you check out Martha Stewart glitter, that is the best glitter I've ever used. So if you go to buy glitter, check them out at Michael's. You're going to need a paper clip to spread out the glue, and excuse me, I'm going to get some brushes out too, and I need a big one and a small one, and of course all my small ones are at the very bottom, so I'm digging for those. But I have some paint laid out too. I'm not sure what I'm going to use, but I had some options because you never know what's going to work and what won't. So I'm going to take those spiders out, and I decided to use my wire cutters to cut the plastic, but it doesn't cut plastic. Obviously it cuts wire, so that didn't work. So I was trying to rip the plastic. Then I realized how they actually put those spiders in, and I felt pretty dumb for a hot second. But I got them out, and it was all good. So they are really pretty cute. If I had one of those in my house, I probably would not be scared. Okay, maybe I would. So I'm choosing the paint. I kind of want green, and I think I want to do the glow-in-the-dark. So I'm going to mix those colors up because I didn't quite like both of them separately. So when I think of Halloween colors, I think of orange, green, purple, and black. So I wanted to make sure that I incorporated all those colors. That's from Target, and that's Apple Tart. I thought that was really cute. So I wanted to make sure to incorporate all those colors. So I'm going to mix these two greens together. So that will be my Halloween green. And so my only color left is purple. And you know what I'm going to paint purple? I'll let you guess. Put it down in the comment section. So when you go to paint things like wood, you don't want to do any X or Z paintings where you're just, randomly painting it. You want to paint it, in one direction, like painting with the grain. So I always paint my items in one direction so I have an even coverage. You don't want to have an uneven coverage because you're just randomly painting it in all sorts of directions. So I had a hair that fell off my brush, so if you're wondering. That happens. Brushes shed. So I painted everything twice. You don't see it in the video, but I do step away and let things dry. And I have 2 layers of paint on it. So when you go to paint, make sure you do the edges really well too. I do sell these on Etsy at the Wreath bar. So when I do make things for customers, I do try my best, and I don't want just a crappy item that I'm trying to sell. I want to, have pride in what I'm doing. So I always try to take my time and enjoy the process. I think a lot of people don't enjoy the process as much. They just want the end result. And I really do enjoy the process. It's very stress relieving. So I'm just doing all the edges. Take your time, listen to music when you do this. Pop in a sucker, I'm telling you, I had about 5 suckers because wrappers were bad, and that's your obligation, so I'm just telling you. So I'm going to let that dry. So that's my second coat, so it should be done. And I'm going to work on the trick-or-treat sign, which I thought the font of that was so cute. Like, it just looks unique. So I went to wash my hands because I've got green paint on it, then I'm getting paper for it. So I just disappeared for a moment, that's why. So I have a couple of different colors of purple, and I'm not sure which one I'm going to use, but since I haven't used both of them for a while, I like to swatch them on a piece of paper just to see, how thin they are, because some of them can be really cheap and thin, and then others are not. So I found the one I wanted to use, and I had to go wash my hands again, so I disappeared for a moment. But I'll be back, I promise. So the trick-or-treat sign is a thin piece of wood, and if you notice, things like those little delicate pieces of wood, they're dark on the edges, like they were stamped out by heat or something. But since the edges are dark, it's really good because I have dark purple paint that I'm using, so if I miss a little spot, you don't see it as much, which I think is kind of nice, because edges are obviously harder to get than the front. So if you need to pick it up, to get the edges, do that. Make sure you do your best. Make it look good. I like to use things more than once. I don't want to just make it just to make it. I want to use it for a couple years, so do your best. So I painted that, and now my green circular piece of wood is ready for glow-in-the-dark paint. And glow-in-the-dark paint has like a slight yellowish greenish tint to it, so it goes on really well with green paint. Otherwise I would have used it for the trick-or-treat sign. But if you don't know much about glow-in-the-dark paint, the more layers of paint of that stuff that you put on, the better it glows. So I would say 1 layer of paint, you won't see it glow very much. I'm putting 2 layers of paint on, and I'm gonna put it underneath my lamp and actually check it after it dries to see if I need to put a 3rd layer. So again, I'm doing an even coat going the same direction as all my other coats. And when you do this, you need to make sure that you do the edges as well. This stuff dries really fast. If you don't know glow-in-the-dark paint, I've used it several times. Oh my gosh. It does dry faster than regular paint. I think it's just thicker. So I'm going to put that up by the lamp, let it charge so I can look at it later, see if that's enough. And it was. I only put 2 layers of glow-in-the-dark paint on. So I'm using purple glitter, and I am painting on Halloween, the glow-in-the-dark paint and the glue, and I mix those together and adhere the purple glitter. So that took a little while, but the end result looked really nice. So everything's dry. I'm ready to put the trick-or-treat sign onto the circle. Then I'm going to put my little spiders on. So don't forget to take the hooks off the spiders, because they don't lay down flat if you don't take those off. So I'm just using my glue. I have Goop and E6000, but you can use any other glue. I think super glue might work too, but I hate getting that stuff on my fingers because it seems to last for a couple days. I just don't like that feeling. So I'm just making sure I get glue on all the letters. Take your time. And then when you need to center something, make sure you have a good view. You got to stand up and view it from the top. Make sure you get it centered correctly. Then I'm going to put my box of brushes on it just to weigh it down so it doesn't, so it has a closer bond between the wood. And so I took the clips off the spiders, and I'm about to glue those down. But I need to glue the hooks on. I have a hook on the top and a hook on the bottom. I don't show you both, but I have another one behind something, I guess. So I just put the same glue that I just used onto the hook, and I basically just glue it down. You don't want to see the hook at all. Like, you don't want to see any part of it from the front. So just glue it down. Make sure you check the front so you're putting it in the center and at the top. Okay, make sure you clean up the glue, make it look nice. Don't have anything, no clumps of glue just sitting there. And then I did the bottom hook, and then I put both spiders on, one on the top and one on the bottom. And I thought it looked pretty good. I used my little brush and got all the glitter off. And I'll show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. So hang that on your door on Halloween night and let all your trick-or-treaters come and grab a dum-dum. So I will see you later, YouTube. Enjoy this.